Okay, once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the parallel session 1 of the 11 ISOFOL. My name is Talita Ardelia, and I will be your moderator for this session. In this room, there are 3 speakers. They are Ms. Trisnawati from Man Insan Cendikia Gorontalo, Mr. Muklis from MTS Al Mujahidin Samarinda, East Kalimantan, and last but not least, Ms. Yunalia Anugraheni from MTSN 6 Kediri, East Java. Before we proceed with the presentation from the presenters, I would like to inform you that each speaker will have 20 minutes to present their papers, and then will be continued with the question and answer session. For the attendants on Zoom who have questions for the speakers, please type your question in the chat box, as well as your name, your institution, and to whom the question is addressed. You can start typing during the presentation session, and we will select the questions and display it during the Q&A session. Yeah. So without further ado, let me introduce you our first speaker, Ms. Trisnawati. Ms. Trisnawati is an English language teacher in Man Insan Cendikia Gorontalo for the last 20 years. Her interest in the use of technology in language learning motivated her to participate as facilitator of Indonesian Massive Open Online Course in 2017 and 2018. Her active and positive participation as facilitator also rewarded her recognition as 15th Best Influential Facilitator of IMOOC. Today, she will share her paper entitled Enhancing Student Writing Proficiency in Writing Analytical Exposition Using CAFE Model. Ms. Trisnawati, the floor is yours. Ms. Trisnawati, can you hear my voice well? Dia menghilang. Ms. Trisnawati, I think her name is missing from the list of participants. Okay, so uh, as we're waiting for Ms. Trisnawati to join us in this room, we will continue for with the second speaker first, I think. So our second speaker is Mr. Muklis. He is an English teacher of MTS Al Mujahidin Samarinda, East Kalimantan. His major interests are research in autonomous learning and technology in language learning. In 2018, he was selected as recipient of Research Grant Batch 4 by Simeo Kitapan Language, and just last year, he was also selected to conduct a collaborative action research funded by Tanoto Foundation. In the symposium, he will present his paper, which entitled The Role of Madrasah English Teachers to Support Autonomous Learning. To Mr. Muklis, the time is yours. Mr. Muklis, you can now start sharing your screen and turn on your microphone, please. Okay. Mr. Muklis, I'm sorry I cannot hear your voice. Yeah. No, I can still hear your voice. Yeah. So maybe you do have any other headset or headphone, or please check your setting. Mhm.
What about now?
Yeah, I can hear you well now.
Okay.
Yep.
So, okay, I would like to say thank you so much for all the participants that joining my session. Okay. In this in this occasion, I would like to discuss my research about the role of madrasah English teacher to support autonomous learning. Okay, it is conducted by me at MTS Al Mujahidin Samarinda. Okay, in order to make you understand my presentation, I would like to show you my presentation outline. First, we have introduction, theoretical framework, research methodology, findings discussion, and then conclusion. Current issue. Okay, what happened? So I have some. Okay, the first section, I would like to discuss about current issue. The first, it is all about teacher's role, not only teaching, but also prepare student in real life. Actually, it is our responsibility as a teacher, but it is not only about teaching and teaching as well as giving education, but it is about how to prepare and make sure our student can survive in real world. For example, how can a student can get a better life after graduating from our school, or how can our student can having a job after finishing school? So it is our responsibility, it is our role as teacher to teach our student to be independent and having responsibility for their own life. And unfortunately, even though we encourage our students to be independent, there is also a misconception of autonomous learning. It is not only the absence of teacher support. I think autonomous learning doesn't mean that there is no teacher support. We cannot let our student just doing or learning alone without our support as teacher. Okay, there is no learning, meaningful learning that happen among our students. So that's why I'd like to discuss this current issue. Next, because of this current issue, okay, what? Okay, I want to conduct a study that having purpose first, in order to know teacher perception to support autonomous learning. Second one, in order to know challenges and difficulties to support autonomous learning. And the third, solution to solve challenges and difficulties to support autonomous learning. And I believe that this study must be significant and have beneficial impact theoretically to support autonomous learning theory, and practically it can be references for other teachers that have same interested with me to support autonomous learning. Okay, first, and then we have theoretical framework. Okay, this I use, okay, I think it is a beautiful illustration to know about autonomous learning and the role of us as teacher. In Erman and Jan 6, you can see if the class stage up in a theater and the student are teacher, what is the teacher? The teacher is many people in theater: director, prompter, coach, scriptwriter, audience, and above all another actor. But actually in real classroom, we can be anything. We can be facilitator, we can be manager, we can be director, we can be counselor for our student. It is just an illustration, but we can be even we can be friends, we can be listener for our student. It is based on our students' need. So Next. Okay, apa sebenarnya teacher's role in outcomes learning? I adapted from LNSE. We have teacher can be facilitator, teacher can be counselor, teacher can be manager, and teacher can be sources. Okay, by being facilitator, okay, teacher can be facilitate learning. Okay, but we still need support our student. And teacher can be counselor anytime our students need or having difficulty in or hopeless in our classroom. Maybe we can be counselor for our students to solve, so make them to survive in our class. In manager, being manager, for example, if our students too crowded, too naughty, we must be take a role as manager. We have managed the time, we have managed the interaction, and having good classroom management. Okay, the last one, teacher can be a resource. Of course, teacher can be resources of knowledge, giving material, or giving source or information. Okay, next. So what is learning? What is Autumn's learning? Okay, I adapted from Hulk and Alanazi 2017, the ability to take charge of one's of learning. Okay, another expert say that young 20 and 12 responsibility and their own learning involved in selecting material and evaluating process. It means that as a teacher, we have a role, we have duty, we have responsibility to encourage our students to be more aware or having awareness of responsibility of their learning. They must be not always depend on the teacher. For example, they can choose material, what should be the best for them. Okay, for example, as teacher, we can take just short information or short. Okay, we give them some material and they choose it. And then they should also teach to have assess their progress in learning. Okay, and the next one. Okay, another study related research. Okay. Okay, here, according to SU 2020 and 15, teachers should play more role and responsibility to support outcomes learning. So here, okay, here we can see that teacher roles not only limited, it is not only one role, but it can be everything. But it is really interesting. In Indonesia, there is also a study or research conducted by JAD 2017, English teacher and public school from ND Regency, Nusa Tenggara Timur, Indonesia, play a role to support outcomes learning, namely facilitator, manager, assessor, resources, participant, and counselors. Okay, next. Another study conducted by Zhao and Huang 2019, in autonomous learning, teachers take on more new roles like manager, counselor, administrator, evaluator, and etc. Okay, so from this study, we can say that teachers' roles is not limited. Teachers can be everything. Teacher can be anything to support our students' outcomes learning, can be facilitator, assessor, evaluator, or manager. It is based on the context. And so we have to know the right time when we have to play as facilitator or assessor or even just observer. Okay, so next. Research methodology. Okay, in this study, I use descriptive study. Actually, it is descriptive study in design. It looks like a survey study, and the subjects are English teacher from Madrasah Sanawiyah, 30 English teacher, Samarinda, is Kalimantan. And then here I use questionnaire. Actually, it is, okay, what? No. Okay. In this part, in this questionnaire, I use Likert pipe scale, and then I distribute this questionnaire to all English teacher and MGMP meeting in Samarinda. After that, I After collecting the data, I analyzed by using descriptive statistic to know the result of the study or the result of this research. And next, finding and discussion. Okay. Finding and discussion, as we know that from here, we can see that role of teacher as manager 28%, teacher as facilitator 25%, teacher counselor is 22%, and resource 25%. But the most interesting is teachers looks like having preference to be manager instead of being facilitator, resource, and counselor. It is the fact we like to be manager instead of facilitator, counselor, or resource. Okay, the next one. Okay, what happened? Okay, this is challenges and difficulty. First, student lack knowledge of autonomous learning, and then school strict regulation. I want to discuss about next. Okay, school strict regulation. I think some schools still exist that strongly against the use of mobile phone until now. But in this pandemic area, we cannot separate from mobile phone to have distance learning. And here, teachers lack knowledge of autonomous learning. It strongly related with another difficulties. Okay, another difficulties like next. Okay, limited access to teacher training. In Samarinda, personally, I have limited access to teacher training. So it is an honor for me to be presented here. Okay, next. Okay, solution. Solution, yeah, of course, we have to play different kinds of teacher role in classroom. It can be facilitator or anything, and adapt school regulation to students' need. Perhaps gradually, step by step, we can change the view or point of view that we should not again the use of mobile phone, for example. Next, conducting more teacher training through KGG or MGMP, I mean. Kemudian it can, yeah, of course we have to cooperate with Ministry of Religion, Ministry of Education to promote teacher professional development. Next, okay, conclusion. Okay, I think this is the conclusion of my research. Teachers should play different kind of teacher role to support autonomous learning, such as facilitator, assessor, even new role it is needed. Okay, those autonomous learning should not be misinterpreted without teacher support. It means that, okay, it means that we have to play any kind of roles anytime it is needed. You have to know the right time when you can be facilitator, when can you be observer. And the next one, in GMP meeting, we have tried to conduct teacher training that focus on autonomous learning. And I also suggest you to conduct a more study related to this research. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Then I back to moderator.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Mr. Muklis, for the interesting presentation about the role of teacher in autonomous learning. So from his presentation, we realized that autonomous learning should not be misinterpreted as absence of teacher support. On the other hand, based on his research result, it is showed that the teachers play several and important roles to support students' autonomous learning, such as facilitator, counselor, manager, resourcer, and etc. etc. So once again, thank you very much for Mr. Muklis for the interesting presentation, and for those participants who have questions to Mr. Muklis, I kindly remind you to type your questions in the chat box, and don't forget to mention your name as well as your institution. Okay, thank you. So we are now heading to our second presenter for this session. Her name is Miss Yunalia Anugraheni. Miss Yunalia, she was graduated from Universitas Islam Kadiri and continued her study focusing on language and literature study at Universitas Negeri Surabaya. She is now currently an English language teacher in MTS Negeri 6 Kediri and LBB Ganesha Operation Pare. Ms. Anugraheni will present her paper entitled Creating Digital Glossary to Build Learners' Autonomous Learning. Ms. Anugraheni, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here with you today. My name is Yunalia Anugraheni from State Islamic Junior High School 6 Kediri. In this nice occasion, I am going to be sharing my article entitled Creating Digital Glossary to Build Learners' Autonomous Learning. Learners come to the class with greatly varying English vocabularies in their mind. Some learners have a great number of word meanings while others do not. Some strategies should be implemented by the teacher to assist learners efficiently memorize the words. The strategies include repetition, imaging, and practicing. However, to pronounce and to spell the words is very difficult for learners. So, teachers should apply one of the ways to overcome it. One of them is glossary. Gloss is a way to help learners to create high level of interest in learning and improve their learning outcome. Because we are now live in digital environment, so it is necessary to ask the learners to create digital glossary. Digital environment supports the emergence of multimode clues such as Abraham, who investigates on the positive effect of glossary on vocabulary learning, and Sahroni, who investigates the multimedia clues to help learners to comprehend the reading text. Digital glossary contains three kinds of text, and then image or video, and sounds or audio. Okay, because limited time of teaching and learning activity in the classroom, learners needs to be encouraged to create autonomous learning in the form of project-based learning. In this article, the project-based learning is in the form of creating digital glossary. The gloss must contain the next topic and enrich the learner's insight. To enrich learner's insight, the gloss must be related to the basic competence of asking and giving more information about animals, things, and places. And about related to the next topic, such as asking and giving information related nature, action or function, and descriptive text about people, animals, and things. In creating digital glossary, the student will get guidance from the teachers, and they do it in collaboration using MIT App Inventor tool. So the research questions in this article is only one, that is, how is the learner's skills in creating digital glossary in the form of Android application collaboratively? And what is the benefit of this research? The first one is utilizing information technology in project-based learning and building learners' autonomous learning in terms of enhancing vocabulary mastery. The design of this research is descriptive qualitative at MTSN 6 Kediri, and the subjects are 7th grader students of 7th grade A with 33 learners, which divided into 5 groups. Now, I am going to talk about research procedure. In the first meeting, the teacher explained the objective of the projects. And then she asked the learners to make groups of 6 or 7 to take one topic. After that, she asked them to find words related to the topic, minimally 3 words, with its pictures and English words. The size of the pictures must be less than 100 kilobytes. Next, the teacher teaches them how to write the words, their phonetical symbol, and Indonesian meaning into the table using Microsoft Word, sort the words alphabetically, and save the file. The phonetical symbol was taken from this side, and then the pronunciation is taken from this side. The topics are animal, home, job, and public place. Each topic must include nouns, verb, and adjective. And here is the table the student made. Actually, although they have made the table and choose the picture, in the application, they still change the picture. I don't know why. Perhaps they want to get the best picture. Now, in the second meeting is design an image for application icon, splash screen, and menu button, glossary banner or heading, and about. About is the last part of the application. In the second meeting, is about creating a display of splash screen, menu, and about using online MIT app Inventor tool. In the fourth meeting is creating the content of digital glossary. And in the last meeting or meeting 5 is about logging the menu and glossary. After each meeting, the student, after the meeting, the teacher gives short video about the teaching and learning activities in the morning. So the learners can access the video whenever they need. Now talking about the data analysis, the data is 5 digital glossary in the form of Android application, and it will be analyzed using based on the objective, contents, design, and easy to use. Here is the number of word, picture, and sound of the student show in application. Minimally 30, and the most one is 53. And all applications have the same layout design because the same layout design is suggested by the teacher, and it is very difficult for them to create another design. And here is one of the examples of their student application. And now I continue to discussion. Creating digital glossaries is a kind of autonomous pre-learning vocabulary through explicit instruction. The chosen vocabulary must be related to handbook and supplementary materials they use. All selected words are individual items to help learners comprehend at the literal level of understanding and see the progress in determining interpretive meaning making ideal. Next, glossing words are kind of direct vocabulary instruction to raise learners' scores on comprehension tests. The words which are more normally used are the ones teachers should teach first. Learners learn the words autonomously by creating glossaries in the form of Android application. The teacher roles are to check its words whether it has precise spelling, meaning, phonetical symbol, and pronunciation. Direct evidence shows the negative effect of teaching words in lexical set like the names of vegetables. However, it can be avoided if the words are taught according to their frequency of occurrence. Words are taught as they occur in normal written and spoken text. Here, learners find selected words from handbook and supplementary materials they use. Thornbury advises to visualize a picture for a new word to get the best outcome, especially for visual learners. Digital glossary in this application is completed with image. So, by clicking the image, user can listen how to pronounce the word. Learners are asked to create digital gloss which contain text, picture, and sound to help word recognition through providing pronunciation, the meaning through the first and second language, and visual. Moreover, if it is possible, eGloss can provide example of sentence and grammatical information. The step of creating digital glossary move into permanent long-term memory, such as repetition, retrieval the words when they come in sentence, spacing where learners can backtrack and recall whenever they want. Imaging for visual learners, motivation and attention in learning the words. So this one is the last part of this article, conclusion. Although the digital glossary are created by the learners have the same design, the same layout design, they have shown creative words through different content and objective display on the application. All image buttons in the application can work well. After all applications are distributed, all learners must install them on their smartphone. For English language learners, the applications are expected to help them improve vocabulary mastery and become durable over time in their memory. By implementing this project, learners are able to get new learning experience, collaborate with their peers, and improve their creativity and IT literacy. For the teacher of English, it is suggested to implement this strategy for other topics to impart ideas during lesson and help learners build their background knowledge. Okay, that's all my presentation about from my article. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ms. Yunalia Anugraheni. That was very interesting and innovative information from you. So yeah, from her presentation, we can learn new ways to teach students vocabulary independently, innovatively, and also creatively. A part of the language skills itself, during the project, they can also develop their IT skills, yeah, IT literacy skills, as well as collaboration skills through this project by making a e-glossary. So that was very interesting. Okay, now we will welcome our last speaker for this session. So actually, she is Miss Trisnawati. Yeah, she is Miss Trisnawati. I would like to repeat again her curriculum vitae. Miss Trisnawati is an English language teacher in Man Insan Cendekia Gorontalo. She has been teaching English in that schools for the last 20 years. Her interest is in the use of technology in language learning, and that make her to participate as facilitator of IMOOC, or Indonesian Massive Open Online Course, in 2017 and 2018. And her active and positive participation during the event as facilitator also rewarded her recognition as 15th best influential facilitator of IMOOC. And today, she will share her paper entitled Enhancing Students' Writing Proficiency in Writing Analytical Exposition Using CAFE Model. So, Ms. Trisnawati, the time is yours. Thank you.
Well, okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good day, everybody. Sorry for the inconvenience because something happened. The blackout has happened in my house, so that's why it happened several times. So I was so confused and I was so nervous at that time. And thankfully, God will give me the power to do this.
Yeah, gladly.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to say thank you so much for the opportunity given to me. And firstly, I would like to thank God because we are still in a healthy conditions in spite of the COVID-19. And also, I would like to say my special thanks to the committee of ISOVOL 11, who has given me the opportunity to share my research experience. And also for the great participants who are joining from the first time and to get the better knowledge in the future for teaching and learning process, especially we are as a teacher. And I would like to say Happy World Teachers Day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Trisnawati and an English teacher of Man Insan Cendekia Gorontalo. Actually, my school is a boarding school, and that's why I'm interested to conduct the research on issues of environmental issues. So yeah, in my research title. Oh, okay, but I do forget. I would like to give what is it called, like the quote first.
Okay.
Gaining knowledge is the first step to wisdom. Sharing it is the first step to humanity. So today I'm so happy to share my research experience, especially discussed in environmental global issues. Under the title, sorry, I will share my screen first. Do you see my screen?
Yes, Ms. Trisnawati.
Okay. Well, this is my title, Enhancing Students' Writing Proficiency in writing analytical expositions using cafe model. So I am concerned with the four reasons in my background. The first one is English 2013 curriculum demanding. As we know that the English 2013 curriculum has designed and implemented a gender-based approach, and students are given more kinds of tasks that they should learn, and of course this will be, what is it, this is integrated in the four language skills such as reading, writing, speaking, and then listening. But I will concern with the writing here because this is something that the students in senior high school mostly considered as a boring activity. Yeah, it is true. Based on my experience, this kind of writing or construct writing text makes the students frustrated because 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 learners are not trained to arrange text systematically, logically, and effectively through continuous exercises, or I will call it with the doesn't give a direct telling. What I mean direct telling means that actually writing is not instantly produced, but it must be learned by some stages, like step by step, on how to create or to construct the writing text itself. And then the third one is analytical exposition. Is a hard thing. It's a hard problems for the students to create or to construct the writing itself. It's because based on my prior research, the students have difficulties when they don't know how to make arguments and elaborate it on it, and then they don't know how to organize the ideas, and they don't know how to find out the evidence or some data to support their arguments, and then mostly they tend to copy from the textbook. And these factors are considered for the students difficult for them to create this one. And then the third one is analytical exposition. Analytical expositions is the sorry, I think the third is already discussed. I mean, like the fourth one is teacher doesn't integrate environmental education in language classroom. Yes, as we know, teacher as an educators must must teach the students about the global issue related with the environment. So the environmental education is really needed by the students to make them aware to their environments that need their attention to be discussed. Here, my school is a boarding school, so there are many problems with the environmental issues in our school, especially when they have to, when they are in their dormitory. Sometimes, for example, this is kind of simple things that they have to aware, like They always they always forget to turn off the water while brushing their teeth, and then they never throw old batteries or find a business that will take them. Yeah, and then they always turn the lights. They don't always turn the lights off when they leave the room. So this is kind of examples that they should aware when and then the teacher is the unique position to teach this environmental issue to the students. Well, the problem formulations in my research is how to enhance students' writing proficiency in writing analytical expositions using CAFE model. And then the objectives of the research is to enhance the students' writing proficiency in writing analytical exposition using CAFE model. And the research benefit is, of course, for the students, they figure out the analytical exposition well, and then they love writing as a necessity. It is not like a burden. Sometimes, yeah, for the students, writing is something like an inconvenience one. And then the more benefit is to sharpen students' critical thinking on the certain issues based on the environment, and to create fun and active and creative learning environment, and also to be an independent learners. And the benefit for the teacher, of course, they will enrich learning models, and then they will improve class management and to campaign going green messages, and also to promote autonomous learning. Okay, here I will tell you why I choose CAFE model as my research. Okay, I have two powerful words here. Since the what is it? Since the writing didn't construct with what is it? With direct telling, it seems that the students will get more confused because the writing itself it's not conduct with the recursive process, with the what is it, continuous practice. And of course it will be done by having the stages of writing, like pre-writing first, then the second is writing, and then the last stages is post writing. And of course it inspires me with the CAFE word. CAFE word means here it is critical thinking, active, fun environment. When the students learn how to solve the problems, they will face by themselves, and they will use their critical thinking, of course. And then they will be active to find the solution. And of course, it will be fun for them because they know the topic well, and it will be interesting for them to what is it, to learn. And then also they will do care about the environment because they what is it, they do it by learning by doing. So that is why it inspires me why I should use the CAFE model in my research. And then the research methodology I use is a classroom action research, which has
Miss Trisnawati?
settings.
Okay.
The research setting is in Maninsan Cendekia Gorontalo with the subject of 11 IPA 3 of Maninsan Cendekia, and that has 17 students, and the time allocations is August to September 2019 before the COVID. And the data collection. The data collections is done using written tests, and the observations is conducted during the lesson by, oops, sorry. I cannot. Wait. During the lesson by the teacher and collaborator, and the interview conducted after the actions accomplished. And of course, some instruments supported in this data collections is score result, and then writing rubric, observation sheet, and then interview sheet. And then the data analysis. The quantitative data is achieved from the score of students' writing proficiency using the rubric, and the qualitative data got from the result of observations and interviews after the actions accomplished. And then this is the stages of CAFE model. So it has pre-writing first. In pre-writing, they have to specify the topic to find out the point and aim of the writing. And in the writing itself, students search the data and they make a mind mapping and make a draft. And in post-writing, they have to revising and editing. It will be done by the teacher, of course, by the groups themselves. And then we'll discuss it together before presenting and publishing. And here is the result. The result shows that from 5 aspects of writing, 3 of them, like organizations of the text and then thesis and arguments, need attention, and they have not reached the writing text requirements. It is lower than 65%. So this has happened in the cycle 1. And then the reflections of cycle 1, the students still have a problem to write analytical expositions using CAFE model 1. And then students still have problems to make a thesis or opening paragraph to state their arguments. And then the students' thus didn't have any evidence or data to support their arguments. And then the 4th is the students' lack of some vocabularies and sentence variety. And the students found the obstacles for their group to work collaboratively. And the students took a long time to write their analytical expositions. And due to some references and resources to strengthen their arguments. And the students were not interested in writing due to the uninteresting topic. And the students were left to sharpen their critical thinking by some evidence to support the reasons. And the solutions to cover the cycle 1 is the teacher explains the lesson plan using CAFE 2 by adding some strategies, different strategies. And the teacher divided the students into 8 groups. Each group consists of the same sex. And then the teacher made the worksheet comprises of some questions like are cards comprises of 3 R behaviors. The teacher search the material related to
Baru narik nafas mau ngomong.
Here is the result of cycle 2. So from the data shows that there is a significant improvement in students writing in cycle 2. And the students of 10, 11, IPA 3 of Manisan Cendekia Gorontalo has improved their writing ability. And here is the comparison between the cycle 1 and then cycle 2. in students' writing proficiency in writing their analytical exposition text. So we can see here from the descriptions in cycle 1, the average score is 62.64, and in cycle 2, it will higher than cycle 1. The students can achieve 79.12. And then the maximum score is 84, but in the cycle 2, 90. The minimum score is the same, 55. And the students are not finished in cycle 1 is 88.23%, and then in cycle 2, 23.55%. And the students are finished in cycle 1 is 11.66%, and in cycle 2, 66.47%. So the conclusion and suggestion. The conclusion and suggestion. Cafe learning model showed the significant role to enhance the students' writing proficiency in writing their analytical exposition text from 62.47 in cycle 2 to 79.12 in cycle 2. Cafe model has also impacted the students' learning behavior. Students have sharpened their critical thinking drastically. They learn by doing. They create the learning environment with active fun and care to the environment around them. And the suggestion, the teacher can enrich the cafe learning model as their choice to improve students' writing proficiency in writing analytical exposition text. And the second, teachers should give a direct telling to the students on how to write diverse texts. And next, the next suggestion, train students to sharpen their critical thinking so the students can identify, analyze, and solve the problems systematically. And the last is school should provide English writing club extracurricular for the student as a place for them to improve their writing. Thank you so much. And before I close, I will have the powerful word perhaps for the teacher here. Students will learn best when they know what they learn, understand why, they find the topic interesting, and they have time to contribute. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ms. Trisnawati, for the presentation. It was very comprehensive. From her presentation, we learned about the CAFE model and its implementation on learning, especially in teaching students writing skills. Yeah, according to the result, the model can improve student skills in writing analytical expository text, especially train them to making their thesis, making arguments, finding out the evidence, and also connecting their idea to pour out into text. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will now heading to the question and answer session. We have collected so far five questions for all speakers. So yeah, the first question is addressed to Mr. Muklis from Ms. Amrina Rosyada from Universitas Indrapasta PGRI. The question is, in what ways the teachers put themselves as the manager rather than other positions in autonomous learning? To Mr. Muklis.
Okay, I will try to answer the question. So first, I would like to say thank you so much for this interesting question from Ibu Amrina Rosyada dari Universitas Prasta PGRI. In what ways the teacher put themselves as the manager rather than other
Ada 2
position
pertanyaan
in
baru buat Bu
autonomous
Trisna,
learning?
tapi kayaknya mirip-mirip deh, Mbak. Coba dilihat.
Okay. So in what ways? Actually, like the result of this study can be different from another context. In Samarinda context, in Samarinda context in Kalimantan, the findings show that teachers having reference as manager instead of another role. It is perhaps because of the challenges, okay, as I say personally, I have limited English teacher training as well as my teacher and MGMP meeting or MGMP teacher organization. That's why we have lack knowledge of autonomous learning. So in what way the teachers, maybe they like to put just giving instruction, okay, giving material like do asking students to do homework, just being managers, but it's really hard to say just being manager. Actually, in real classroom, we can change our role anytime. So it doesn't mean that if we say that in my study and my research show that, okay, the role of teacher as man is the highest part, it doesn't mean that the teacher do not use another role, but just the frequency because of the classroom context. Okay, I hope it can answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muklis. The next question, please. Also for Mr. Muklis, from Ms. Hayrunisa, how do you assess the students' autonomous learning since the research methodology is only assessing 30 English teacher by questionnaire?
Okay, actually I need to discuss further about the questionnaire. Because of limited time, I don't explain too much from my slide, but actually the questionnaire consists of 3 parts. First, it assess student the role of teacher, and the second part assess challenges and difficulties, and the second part assess the solution to solve autonomous learning. So in the questionnaire, there's a part that assess student autonomous learning from teacher perspective. One more, I focus on this study, okay, focus on teacher perspective about autonomous learning. So there's an item that say, oh, one student of mine or most of my students can always waiting my instruction. Okay, it means that student having like knowledge of autonomous learning. So there's a special part in questionnaire that assess student autonomous learning from teacher perspective. I hope it can answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muklis. The next question, please. Okay, this is a question for Ms. Trisnawati from Mr. Aris Suprianto. The question is, it seems CAFE is the acronym. What I remember is fun. Most students think that writing lesson is stressful, not to mention if there is time limitation. Tell me in what way you think it is fun? It is a very interesting question. Please, Ms. Trisnawati.
Okay. Sorry, can I see the questions again? Okay, thank you for Mr. Aris Suprianto. It's a nice questions, I think. Okay, it seems CAFE Learning is the acronym. Okay, so yeah, this is an acronym actually, but one word that will be that I put in this research is fun. Fun. It doesn't mean that fun like the students will laugh at the times, and then when they play a game, and then they will laugh at the game, or yeah. But I think this is fun learning. Fun learning means that fun itself has a positive effect on motivation levels, like determining what we learn and how much we retain. it requires repetitions and dedications. If the experience is fun, learner will stay curious and keep coming back for more. So this is what I mean with fun learning, because the students will stay curiosity, and then they will keep think that the writing or to construct the writing text is very interesting for them, because they learn by doing. They experience something, so that's why they will put their ideas into their writing. So this is what I call fun learnings in this case. Perhaps it will be satisfied to you, Mr. Aris Prianto. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ms. Trisnawati. And the next question is back to Mr. Muklis. It is from Mr. Aris from Tangerang Selatan. During your research, do you put the peer correction into account? If it is yes, what do you think of peer correction activity is like leading the blind to the blind?
Okay, can you hear my voice?
Yep.
Okay. In the study, actually I use interpreter reliability in order to know, like if I need a peer help, my friends help, in order to know to correct the result of the study. Actually, there are here, there's a statistic, okay, that have been good knowledge about statistics to calculate standard deviation and using descriptive data to make sure that what I found in the study can be accepted and reliable. I think that's all that I can say about my research correction into fear.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muklis. Maybe we still have time for the next question. It's for Ms. Trisnawati from Ms. Hairunisa. There are two questions here. The first one, I wonder what is the meaning of cafe? I thought it was a cafe. Can you explain why is it called a cafe? And the second question is, when students are asked to write an analytical exposition text, is it guided writing text or unguided? Please, Ms. Trisnawati. Ms. Trisnawati.
Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, ini
Because the host mute my speaker. Okay.
Question for
This question is
it's really interesting.
yeah, like for the cafe is in place we think or drink something, and
yeah, Ms. Trisnawati, we cannot hear your voice. I think there's something trouble with your connection.
hello.
Yeah, hello. Hello, Ms. Trisnawati, can you hear me? Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, Ms. Trisnawati.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It is very interesting questions from Ibu Hairun Nisa. Yeah, I will try to answer the first questions. Yeah, cafe model. Yeah, it seems like it inspires me to the place of a suitable place for us to have eating and drinking something accompanied by the music around us, and the place is comfortable. So I will inspire this cafe to make it into my into my teaching learning process, especially when
Ms. Trisnawati? Okay. Okay, I think there's a problem with Ms. Trisnawati internet connection. I think we can move on to the next question first while we're waiting. So, oh, it's for Mr. Muklis again from Mr. Samson Edilo from San Isidro National High School, Philippines. How do you assess the performance of the students in autonomous learning? What kind of assessment can be used, especially now that we are in the new normal and face-to-face class is not allowed? Okay, please, Mr. Muklis. Mr. Muklis.
Hello, can you hear me, please? Hello.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it my turn now?
We're moved on to Mr. Muklis first, but when we have more time, I will give you time to answer the question. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Trisnawati. And Mr. Muklis, maybe you can answer the question now. Hello, Mr. Muklis, can you hear me? Okay, I think there's also internet connection problem with Mr. Muklis. Maybe we can back to Ms. Trisnawati. Yeah, you can answer the question now. Thank you. Unmute your, okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, yes, we can hear your voice.
Good. Okay, thank you for the question, Ibu Hairunisa from Man 1 Tangerang Selatan. So this is very interesting questions. Yeah, you have the same thing with me, like cafe. Cafe is a kind of place that very comfortable and suitable for us to drink and then eating something accompanied by some loud music, for example, or soft music. And it is like this one, the learning environment will be like this cafe actually, but cafe here in cafe learning model, what I mean here is like students will sharpen their critical thinking to solve the problems, and then they will be active, and then they will also fun to learn, and then they will use their environment, because the global issue of the environment is an interesting topic to be discussed. Especially my school is a boarding school, so there are many problems with the environmental environment, and that is why they should they should think about and then construct their writing text using this cafe model. And then the second one, when students are asked to write an analytical exposition, writing text, or it should guided writing or unguided writing. Of course, Ibu, it must be in guided writing, because to write itself needs more exercises, and it needs more direct telling for them. Like I said in the previous one, that For the guided writing, they need 3 stages of writing. The first one is pre-writing, writing itself, and then the last is the post-writing. I think this will be guided writing. So it will make the writing well and develop. I think that's.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Trisnawati, for the answer. Mr. Muklis, is it possible for you to talk now with your connection to answer the question from Mr. Edilo? Mr. Muklis, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to answer this question. Okay,
Maybe only one comment
to
because our
assess
time
student
is
performance yes, in order to assess our student performance in autonomous learning in this new normal, I think I like to use Google Form, okay, to make reflection after they're doing tasks or homework or just giving tests. And this, in this nowadays era, you can be take role as teacher, can be YouTuber or Telegram, right? It's a new role that we have to take as teacher. But how can we know to student, our student autonomous learning? We have to send them a reflection after doing text. For example, after we ask them to put or upload video or their text from video, we need to ask them about like so what their progress. It looks like a reflection by question like what I have learned today, what I want to learn more on, what I have to do right now. So what I would like to know more. I think by doing reflection, student can know the progress in this era in which face-to-face in the class is not allowed. But the platform could be different, could be Google Form, could be YouTube or Instagram. It is based on our students' need and context. I think the answer is by doing reflection. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Muklis, for your answer. All right, because it's already 12 p.m. in the afternoon, we have come to the end of today's session. I would like to thank our speakers for today, Mr. Muklis, Ms. Trisnawati, Ms. Yunalia, and also thank you very much for the attendees for joining us in this room. For your kind information, the registration for second day of the 11th ISOFOL will start at 8:30 a.m. Jakarta time, and the event will start at 9 a.m. Please use the same link or access ID shared by the committee to access the room tomorrow. I would like to close this session by quoting a quote quoted by Ms. Trisnawati, that is, knowledge is the first step to wisdom, and sharing is the first step to humanity. Hopefully, we can learn a lot from this today's sharing session, and we can continue to share the positivity gained from this forum to our own teaching community. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy for the rest of your day, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.